Hi, welcome. On this video, I'm going to be actually doing a kind of bonus follow-up video by way of a special kind of request to profile, do a breakdown of this trainer who, again, engages a training process as a type of power play. Okay, again, I encourage you to watch the prior two videos I did with this trainer helping by way of a Malinois. I talk about certain themes I go through, the importance of a intentional interaction-based method, the importance of how it needs to come together and hold together, by way of a process to reverse course. Again, in the prior video with the Mal, and again, some interesting takeaways from that in terms of even dealing with the point of contact with making contact with the dog's head. I talk about how that, again, in terms of what that represents, context of that. So I encourage you to watch those two prior videos. Again, I provide some useful information. But here, again, the video popped up by way of this trainer. Again, this was, I was, this was brought to my attention, and not in a bad way. Just say, well, this is interesting. You see trainers out there who, certain trainers like say the Dog Daddy, Caesar Milan. There's other trainers I profile as part of my series who do bring those core ingredients into a process a certain way by way of influence and control. So the question is, well, to take a look at it and say, okay, what is this really about here? There are gaps and holes. I want to talk about, especially here, this video here that I want to profile, which is very interesting, dealing with, in the title here, diffusing aggression with a police canine. Now, my background is police canine for many years. And so here, again, talking about in this situation here, there's this trainer who's interacting with this police canine that has a bite history, and not, again, not type of bite history that is part of a being expressed by way of what I define as a conditional state, express and control that way by way of relationship, bite history that has gone sideways by way of biting this handler's partner as well as his daughter. So I'm going to play some of this video. I want to add to this, respond to this. Again, anyone who's dealing with a aggressive dog, I want to kind of encourage you to kind of pay attention to some points here I'm going to mention by way of, the importance of, everything coming together the right way to reverse course.
What's up, guys? We just finished up the K-9 Street Survival School in Paducah, Kentucky, and we were going to jump into one of our first clips that we're going to be releasing. This clip is of a gentleman from an apartment in Cleveland, and so he has a very large, powerful dog that has a pretty extensive bite history. So his partner had just been bit by his dog, who was at this event as well a couple days prior. His daughter had been bit by this dog, so the dog's biting his family members, and he said several other officers on his department has been bit by his own dog.
So we'll talk about this now. Again, I talk about my background, police canine, Ruben, really being really the kind of foundation of this system. Insight gained through the relationship that way with Ruben, my first police dog. And Ruben, again, fully trained, narcotics, patrol, tracking, protection. And in all the years, never had a accidental bite. And being able to take Ruben into the schools for as part of the drug awareness program, so the kids getting the pet all over Ruben, and surrounded by kids, and totally just under control, and at the same time, being used to with protection. And you get into some of these situations, and again, that's part of the confusion by way of even in terms of protection work, where you get this type of, drive-based idea of things where it's like the dog always needs to get the bite because you don't want to set up a circumstance where the dog isn't going to be reliable. And so you get this confusion happening as well. But again, it's kind of a cautionary tale. Understand? No, you want the full package. Okay, you want the dog should be reliable, consistent, dependable, trustworthy, by way of, again, of perceiving the handler the right way. Because understand that when you deal with, bite work, it's supposed to be, okay, it's expressed in and through the relationship. Okay, so controls being expressed, but by way of the handler. Okay, so this is where you get this whole thing about perceptions changing, okay, the right way. So this, in terms of just being able and being fully dependable, not being worried about, well, this dog, if a dog doesn't get a bite every time, this is some of the nerves out there, then that might cause a problem. But again, that in itself causes a problem because it has to be expressed by way of a conditional state, just like a red, yellow, green light, not just green light. That's where you get into problems. But then understand it's not just supposed to be some mindless act. Okay, it's about relationship. I mean, dogs should be keying up on certain relational dynamics in terms of certain situations where it's not just the dog's not just a robot. Okay, this is the whole thing here with getting into this, understanding what's going on.
We didn't keep going into detail. We just got the point that the dog just bites whoever he wants to. You also see that this dog the handler's going to pass it to me. It's normal when you have a dog this size. You got a bite history like that, there's potential redirected aggression. And so you're going to see I take over the dog just because the handler's a little nervous. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not a knock against him. You got a dog that big likes to bite and has no problem biting you. I'd be nervous too. So I'm going to show you in this video how fast.
So again, you talk about the redirect issue. You watch the video put out. The Tom Davis video is a great example of, what I'm talking about in terms of bringing things together. In that video, he's dealing with an aggressive Doberman, Tom Davis, and he gets redirected on. But you see that coming. I talk about, the issue about control, how it's being expressed, this thing about building up a rapport with the dog that way prior to, changing perception of dogs the right way first before you go into allowing the dog to express control in other ways. Understand there's the sequence you need to go through to make sure the perception, make sure the relationship is aligned properly first. Okay, understand it's very important.
Fast we diffuse any of this stuff where we have handler aggression or just preconditioned aggression through equipment. So putting a muzzle on a dog just means muzzle fight.
So again, associations. Okay, so yeah, certain thing will create an association to gear that dog up. I mean, Ruben knew when I, was going on a call, just how I walked out my pace, how I walked out to the kennel area to get him geared up for a call. You could tell it's something different. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that to a certain point. Okay, but when it starts to get to that level where it's like control, then now you get a problem because you're not perceived the right way, and you become just basically what I call being toll booth. It's like throwing a quarter in to get to what the dog wants. And this is where you get into issues with tracking. Dogs that will try to visualize the quarry. They're trying to shortcut because they're not invested the right way with their nose into the scent cone. They're trying to shoot their head up because they want that bite. Okay, that you'll see it manifest itself in other ways in terms of training.
Especially if the dog gets put in the muzzle before he muzzle fights all the time. So we're going to teach that, change that, and then also the thing I want you to pay attention to is that we're not doing anything to the dog like crazy. There's nothing crazy happening to the dog.
So I understand there's no those words I wouldn't even apply teaching. There's no teaching anything. Okay, it's about relationship.
Dog. I'm not even talking to the dog. I'm not yelling at the dog. I'm not hitting the dog. I'm not trying to bribe the dog. We're just working the scenario, and we're just diffusing the conflict between the dog and the handler.
So interesting here. So when I talk about the core ingredients, I talk about intercepting. Okay, this gets into, you'll see this here. This gets into the thing about the stinking thinking, control manifesting. Here, the verbiage here is kind of a red flag, okay, to say that those core ingredients are not going to come together the right way. Right here, you know, because it is about relationship. It's about control. Okay, it's about intercepting that express state. Okay, I understand that's important because I talk about the role of influence. How everything needs to come together. Those core ingredients need to come in the right way. Okay, we'll talk about that. But here, you pay attention to words people use. It gives you a kind of a heads up that it's not going to come together.
The conflict between the dog and the handler.
Diffusing conflict. Well, it needs to be a power play anyway. Okay, so it's going to be conflict. This is why we get into these trainers that talk about training without conflict. Well, there's your red flag, right? That no, it plays into this whole learning-based ideology. So it's going to be conflict because it needs to take a path of a power play to establish change. Okay, but not a bad power play, not an over-the-top power play, but those core ingredients have to come together the right way.
So take a look. Hope you like it. I'll see you next video.
Just bring him up to me. Good. Go ahead and let go.
So right here, I talk about alignment. Okay, I talk about speaking the right language. Okay, how everything comes together. It's just like being set in a certain parenting style. Okay, you are how you think. So understand when I take a dog. Okay, what am I doing? Right, or I'm immediately lining it up. Lining up means I'm bringing this dog into physical control, tension of control, and alignment right at my side. The leash, okay, is going to be, intentionally, influence is going to be part of it. You watch my video, see how I'm doing it. I'm starting to establish, a certain expectation. Okay, but in terms of just alignment through body position, it's like the shadow coming over the dog. I'm starting to, again, it's like speaking the right language. It's about intent. Okay, so every movement has meaning. Okay, because it is a type of power play.
You're good.
Right here, he's letting this dog do this. This is part of it right here. Okay, start to take control right away. It's about smooth and fluid, motion. It isn't about, it's always about being calm. When I'm handling an aggressive dog, it's not about making it personal. Okay, it's about intent. Okay, it's about just how you're moving, but it's about control. You have to start to engage. Because understand, when you let a dog start to express a certain way, that's an opportunity. Okay, that's fulfillment in a way. Okay, so you want to shut that down right away. Any sort of situation where this dog is starting to express. Now this, the handler here, because understand that everything transfers over too. Like what you do and what the person sees, they're going to adopt. Okay, they're paying attention to everything you're doing, and so you want clarity. Okay, you want it to be clear. You don't want any sort of wishy-washy things going on. So there's no intentional control coming through this leash right away at all. And this is why I say you are how you think. Understand, when you see certain things, that because we're creatures of habit, okay? We don't, it's like, and this is the important point here, when you have a certain way of thinking, okay, it's because it's language. Okay, you're going to develop that. It's going to be intentional. It's like, because dogs really do get a very good picture as to how your mind is moving. Okay, intent. This is why some trainers will get bitten very fast before they even move, before they even express a certain level of forwardness. A dog feels that build out. Okay, but it's important to set, because you understand you are the system. Okay, you are the foundation. You are the litmus test, so to speak. You are what is going to reveal, because there has to be a standard. Okay, you are that, or you're becoming that. Right. So right here, pay attention. This isn't happening here with that type of bringing those core ingredients into alignment that way at all. So I would never let that go down, period. because he's hitting this dog's trying to bite in, right? This dog, because he's taking control here, and this dog's not liking it. So his dog, the muzzle's on, but his dog is trying to express control that way. This is how this dog, deals. This dog's at a very high level, but you have to shut that down right away. And shutting it down isn't about being aggressive with this dog. You watch how I'm doing it by way of how I'm moving the leash and nudging, how I'm locking in certain ways. It's all about just very intentional, okay, with starting to express clarity. And see right here, there's a moment. So as dog goes back, he starts even hearing the dog sits into place. He's moving into this dog, even ever so much. Shouldn't be happening. You always take it. Okay, understand that when I'm interacting with a dog, I'm always taking. Now it may just be a little bit, but I'm always moving in that direction. I'm always taking more control, getting this lined up. So the dog may end up in this position because of this level of power play going on, and I'll lock in. But if you watch, I call kinetic. I'll lock in, and then the dog's mind will buckle. Okay, it's just like that. That's the agreeableness part. The dog comes into agreement, and the dog will move forward. Okay, so if you watch how I'm locking in with the leash, because everything's always about getting that dog into where I want. Placement. Everything's, like I said, everything's funneling. Okay, it's about clarity.
What's the difference between yesterday and today?
You're nervous, very nervous. You're very fast.
Okay.
So yesterday you took directions way better than today.
See right here, and he's letting off on this leash. I talk about a baseline here, so you can see again. You'll see that he's letting off, but it's always about control. Because even the dog ends up here, I'm always, you'll see the leash tight enough. I'm at the point where it's just slightly uncomfortable enough. The dog knows the intent. Dog gives, I give, which means that dog will move forward. It's always about, again, how you're communicating that through how it's being expressed through the leash.
Like I'm fighting you today. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's not bad. It's good because everyone they get to a certain level of like, all right, so he fought. Hold on. He fought. What happened? All I'm asking him to do is stop. So we're going to move again. Guess what he's going to try to do? In his head, he's been conditioned. Muzzle means what?
So this training is just talking about, this all being conditioned, certain, but this is about, it is a power play, okay? It's a social contract, okay? You're like re-signing the contract through the moments I talk about, right? It is about hierarchy, okay? It is about, dogs are social animals, pack animals. Now, here's the thing here, too. I'll talk about this because you talk about a dog that this has transitioned from problems by way of within the police. This dog has bitten this, this K-9 officer's, partner and now daughter. So, this is where, the structure needs to be there. This is where this has to come together and hold together to get this reversed. Okay, the emotional part of it, if this dog was my dog, this dog would not be in the house connecting with family, pet, none of that for a period of time, for a certain period of time. Doesn't mean it's like forever, but it has to be very much, the right connection needs to be happening. The emotional part needs to be removed. It's not about, when I say that, and this is the thing about, I talk about connection. Okay, people just automatically think about emotion. No. Emotion's part of the connection. The connection's about depth. Okay, but you have to take that weakness out of it. Okay, the dog needs to see you the right way. It isn't because you're being abusive or over the top or angry or mad. It's got to be leveled out. Okay, this has to be clear to the dog, clarity, to get this reversed. Because this isn't, you're not on level ground here. Okay, to get this reversed, everything's got to come together the right way.
That's it. Just like he's been conditioned that loud noise means what? Keying up on dispatch means what? Lights and sirens mean what?
So the same thing. So yeah, there's certain triggers, right? Associations, but still a relationship problem. This dog expressing control beyond the relationship. This K-9 handler, he's faded out. He's faded out of the relationship, period.
But everybody has these same problems because it's routines that you run through. So the dog's not stupid. He gets conditioned to specific things.
So right now, right there, I wouldn't let that dog wouldn't be laying down like that. You'll see dogs will go down because their mind's pulling in too, and they're laid down. That's not submission. Okay, this has to be a power play. So that dog wouldn't have the ability to lay down because the leash would be tight enough. Okay, because always I'll be bring that dog into alignment.
He just laid down, didn't he? We're gonna move as soon as.
But now after the fact, okay, this is about integrity. Okay, it's about getting in the dog's head the right level here.
I move. Guess what he goes into?
See, in that in itself, and that will set a dog off more so. It'll actually flame the dog up because it's confusion. It's saying, okay, what is it with this dog at this level, right? So you're like, you didn't power play it here. Dog went into a down. Then now you're starting to go again. This dog's going to go up, start to flame up again. You'll see the contrast happening through that lack of clarity. Okay, it's not to say that you aren't going to have certain moments happening, but it's, the thing is, clarity is so important when you deal with dogs like this. Clarity through control, leadership, how you're moving, the power play type of dynamic. This would never happen. That's because that's fulfillment. And then, consider this has to transfer over here, right? And to reverse it with the K-9 handler. Just think about that. It's got to come together. So all to say, very interested sense of, again, so I would encourage anyone, you're dealing with a situation with an aggressive dog, pay attention. Because you'll see it through outcomes. Understand that you'll see it. You'll be like, okay, this dog's not, you're still going to have a problem. Someone else is going to get bitten. And you'll feel like, okay, now, see, this is the off ramp. Oh, there must be something wrong with the dog. Right? No, it's the integrity of a process. Those two core ingredients have to come together. Okay, they have to come together into it the right way through the interactions themselves. Have to be intentional. Okay, you have to be in that dog's head the right way. So again, I wanted to do a breakdown because, again, very interesting video for those out there dealing with this type of situation. If you have issues, contact me. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Thanks for watching.